How's everybody today? Pete here at Spawn Fly Fish, ready for another fly tying tutorial. And this is 2025. It's an odd year, and I'm not saying it's peculiar. I'm just looking at the numbers. Numerically, it's an odd year, and that means, especially for us here in Washington, a pink salmon run. And fortunately, pretty easy when you think pink salmon, just think pink flies. So now you know where we're going to head today. Grab your vise, grab your tools. Let's have some fun. Let's get into this fly. First thing in the vise, we do have the Ahrex SA280. This is the size 6. And as far as tying flies for these pink salmon, this is as small as I will go on a hook. But let's get some thread going here. This is just some pink 6/0. Yes, 140 would be epic. Whatever you've got, make it work. Or you can buy some thread. We sell a bunch of it. We're just going to work this little thread base back here. Give ourselves a little indicator kind of right above where that barb sits there as where we want the material to be tied in. So we are going to tie a peach bum. This is one of my patterns that's been picked up by Fulling Mill. But today we are going to alter it and tie it specifically for pink salmon. And I said it's going to involve a lot of pink, so let's get into that. This is some two-toned rabbit. And this is white-tipped hot pink. And pretty cool stuff. And as you can see, I've cut away some of the fur here, so I have a nice spot to tie in. I've got a chunk that's roughly 1 shank length here that's going to hang off the back, but we are going to tie this like the original beach bum, which is articulated and hook point up on that jig shank. So what I'm going to do now is just line up the leather so that the hair starts coming off right where we created that little indicator for ourselves of the end or beginning of the material. So tied in like so, and now it looks upside down. And that's kind of the point. We want it to look upside down. We can give a little peek here, see how far away we are from our mark, and then just get to it. And this last little bit of leather here up front, we're just trim all that goodness out. We don't need it right there clogging the eye. And then we can finish wrapping all of it down, create our even underbody, and we are ready for our next step. This is a pretty simple fly. It's just got a lot of movement. It hits on a lot of things, especially for sea run cutthroat, but you can easily adapt it and bulk it up a little bit, go up in size on the shank or the hook, and easily make that work for other species. So we're just creating a little loop here with our thread, and once we've got that locked in, bring our thread up to the front and undo those twists in that little loop. And this part's pretty straightforward. Just got some spawn dub. This one, the UV Pesca Hot Pink. Can't beat it. Just gonna fill that in, slip in my little spinner, and let's twist this up. And as far as this hook portion goes, you don't need a ton of material. We want this to have enough sparseness so that it breathes as it moves through the water. If you get a little too much material, especially dubbing in there, it just kind of gets wet together and holds on. So it'll still give a gentle wave, but we really want it just going wild. So this is the look I'm going for. Sparse and gnarly. That should be a band name. All right, just gonna work this forward, being mindful to use our off tying hand on every wrap here to sort of guide those fibers, coax them, train them, whatever you want to call it. We do need them heading toward the back, going out over that tail and hook point. That's the idea anyway. And right up here, we've got all our material finished in the loop. Now we just tie off said loop. So need the thread over a couple times. We can pop the tool out. Now we can reverse that thread, get some really good solid wraps on it. the loop is done, we can remove that little tag end. And now this is the due diligence part. Get in there and brush out that dub. And you see, I forgot to tell you this, on that leather of the tail here, I did create that little V. It's not a huge exaggerated V, it's just a tiny one, but that will help the tail to produce a little bit more kick. And also on the original pattern like this, I do a micro rabbit strip off the back there, and by all means you could slim it down if you want to. I like the idea of having just a little bit more leather on here for a salmon size fly, so as it gets saturated, the kick is even more exaggerated, and that kick, that tail kick, is a big deal. We want that. Let's whip finish this guy like so, and cut that thread. Bingo. A little head cement, and look at that, we're halfway done already. Again, this is a very simple pattern, but I needed something that, first off, caught fish. Whether I was in control or somebody else, I just needed a fly that caught fish. Great. And now, the first iteration might have been slightly more complicated, but when it came down to it, you get by with a lot less material. And boy, let the materials do what they do. Especially like I was talking with that dubbing, don't get so much that it just chokes itself out. You want it pretty sparse. All right, so now let's attach our shank here, coming up from the top, again because we are tying this articulated. So when I reverse that, it will make a little bit more sense. Just pop that back into the vise like so. Really want to solidify that grip, and that's it. So I'm going to grab a piece of lead-free wire here just to kind of act as a retainer for this back portion, like so. Nothing to it. Forgive my hands here for a second. And that's tied down out of the way. Now if I jab myself with the hook, one, it's really going to stick, but two, it's all my fault if I do it. Going back to that 0.025 lead-free, I'm going to get some wire wraps in here, and sometimes I'm picky on this, and today's one of those days, so bear with me. I want to match so that when I jam this wire into the bead, I want to fill in the gap here between the bead and the arm, and it's not going to take a bunch of wraps, I can tell you that. So that's what, 7 or 8. Let's go ahead and cut this. We're not going to cut that rear section just yet. Let me get my scissor in here, the flat side, and just roll over that cut edge. Put that into the back of the cavity of that bead, and now you can see exactly how many wraps you have to undo so that when you push that arm down, it should go down and not touch the wire. So that's our wrap. So it ends up being about 4 wraps is all you're going to need, maybe 5. And if you use a different size wire, that number will change too. There we go. Nothing crazy. I like it. Get our thread back in action here, and just be slightly careful. We just want to start it, and let me trim out our tag and the thread, and then you've seen me do this before. I'm going to work this thread back sort of to where that arm ends, and now I can give it an assist on these first few wraps. I'm not going to break the thread as easily, all that good stuff. Just a little pinch is all it takes. And now I can really wrap this sucker down. Make sure nothing's going to move. Get those wire wraps covered. Make sure that bead is in the perfect spot and all that. And then we will finish this bad boy. And I think that's pretty darn good. The thing's not going anywhere. So once again, let's create a loop. And there we go. 3 times around. That will close off the top of that loop. Get in front, come back to it, and now that little knot that we made to close the loop is going nowhere, and it cannot slip on you. Material stays where you need it. That's the whole point. So we're going back to the Spawn Dub UV Pesca Hot Pink, and just gonna get a little bit in there. So this is quite a bit less than we used on that hook shank, but there's a reason. So now I've got that same rabbit, the white hot tipped, fluorescent hot tipped pink, or hot pink tipped, forgive me, but now it's in crosscut. And the reason being, I'm just going to slip this here in the behind the dub, get my tool in, my spinning tool, and I'll close the loop. But before I start spinning, I'm going to get my scissor in here and just trim out the leather portion only of that small section of rabbit we just put in. By all means, you could use a clip for a material clip to put that in, whatever makes you the happiest and is easiest for you to use. So I hope you can see some of that. As I spin this, you should see the effect. And so we'll have that dubbing acting as a small prop, right? Because it gets wrapped first. So it blends in with the rear portion of the fly. You've got that articulation point and then a continuation. So it all makes sense, but we're going to end with this rabbit in the front right behind that bead. And so as far as getting the ultimate in that sultry sort of movement that swims, this has got it all. Small fly, but lots of movement going on, and that makes me happy, which makes me fish it better, which makes me usually catch more fish. How about it? Confidence flies that make you happy, whatever you want to term them. If you're fishing the right stuff for you, you're going to fish a little better, I think. All right, same deal. Just going to coax those fibers back as we wrap forward. I told you that hook point, if I grab it, it's all on me. And I can tell you right now, there's a pretty good chance I'll grab it, but don't tell anybody. So at this point, you see, you're going, holy crap, that's not a big spot. That's a tiny space. It's rabbit. There's no leather inside of there anymore. So we can really pack this in and condense. It's plenty of room, believe me. And you, again, if anything, you got to watch that you don't get too crazy and go, man, I wonder how much rabbit I can fit in there. I'm not saying I've done that 50 times. I'm just saying, you know, how else are you going to learn what's too much? There we go. Cap that off, tie her down, popped off the tool. Again, just pull that thread back. We'll get a couple wraps over that and we can trim this remainder of the loop right out. At this point, we're going to get back to our brush and release any of the trapped fibers in here in the dubbing and also that little bit of rabbit. And you'll be able to see this is just, it all makes sense once it's done. And it just has that flow and movement to it. Lots of pink, but a little bit of contrast with the white. I'd eat it. I don't even have gills and I'd eat this. All right. Build up a little thread neck behind that bead. Make sure nothing's gonna bump and move, and we can really get a good whip finish in there. Let's go ahead and get a second one. And time for a little head cement after we get that done. Voila. That's a pretty fly, if I do say so. I'm a fan. So let's just cover those thread wraps with our Loon. I've got hardhead clear rocking today. I absolutely love this stuff as a head cement. Whatever your favorite is, that's what you should be using. If you don't have a favorite, well, by all means, give us a call, hit us with an email. We'll tell you what our favorite is, even though I just told you. So now we've got all that good stuff done. Let's release the tail here, and there you have it. So there's the beach bum in pink. And what do you say we get this thing wet for a second? I'm into it. Pop this out. I do have some water sitting here. May as well use it. Forgive me for 2 seconds here and try to get this rabbit completely saturated for you. And there we have it. So this becomes the pink beach bum. Sultry, lots of pink, a little contrast. And I can just tell you now, make sure you got the net ready. So there you have it, folks. This is the beach bum in pink, ready for the pink salmon season. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And if you guys had fun tying with me today, by all means, please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe. We will see you all on the water.